the 5 damage per attack, and we have up to 3 more, which is exactly how many we'll need to win. What's going on, YouTube? I want to talk to you guys today about an absolutely insane deck for the Genshin TCG. A lot of people are really upset that we're already going into like meta stuff, but personally, I like winning, and I think a lot of other people like winning too, which is why meta exists. So today we're going to talk about one of those decks. There's quite a few decks that I've seen that have been like really valuable and much stronger than other options. The main two being Freeze and an Ayaka Yoimiya deck. And so I want to kind of go over the Ayaka Yoimiya deck. I think it's kind of iconic that Yoimiya is one of the best cards in the TCG. It just makes me really happy. If you guys enjoy these types of videos, by the way, this is being recorded live on Twitch. And if you guys want to come join us, we're twitch.tv/Braxophone. Everyone here is really friendly. You can see them in the chat right down below. So you should come say hi. But basically this deck revolves around OTKs. And so if you are interested in trying to get a really powerful deck that is working out for a lot of people right now, this is going to be one you want to check out. Also, if you're just a Yoimiya fan, it's a really good deck. So there's basically 2 variants I've seen run of this OTK deck. One is with Bennett and one is with the Fatui Pyro Agent. Now the Fatui Pyro Agent one is, I think, a little bit better. I thought the Bennett one was the way to go, but after playing the Pyro Agent one, I've had a lot better experiences with it. And the main reason is actually something, I'll explain it in a little bit, because you kind of need to know how the deck works first. So obviously you have Ayaka, Pyro Agent, Yoimiya. Now, the benefit of Yoimiya and Ayaka together is that with Ayaka, you can hit pretty hard with your normal attacks. With Yoimiya, you have her burst that deals 1 damage after you use an attack. The reason this is so good is it lasting 2 rounds rather than 2 uses. So the benefit of this is Aris Blaze is basically a buff to you, where after you attack with a normal attack, or actually it's just a skill in general outside of Yoimiya, you're going to deal 1 pyro. It's not like Singshell Swords where you use it 3 times and it's gone and then you have to re-up it. It lasts for 2 rounds. So if you do a ton of normal attacks in the 1 round that you have this, or in the 2 rounds that you have this, depending on like if you're setting up for OTK or over a 2-turn kill, this can be really broken. It only costs 2 energy too, which is insane. And then Ayaka, like I said, Cryo Infusion, very good. Also, her burst does a lot of damage if you reverse melt. The idea behind this is actually abusing a mechanic that one of these cards offers, and it's going to be the Minty Meat roll. So before this round ends, the target's normal attacks cost 1 less unaligned element, and this is really good because if you save up a bunch of dice, you can basically just spam Ayaka normal attacks and you get unlimited uses out of Yoimiya's burst, and you can OTK. You can effectively deal 30 damage in 1 turn. I think in the opening clip, I had 25 damage, or maybe I'm using a different opening clip than I was planning on initially. But this is really strong for this deck in particular. It's not something that helps out decks that revolve around elemental skills a lot. However, for NA spam or infused NA, this is really solid. Outside of that, it's just about getting dice and energy. So I'm going to talk about this in my guide a little bit later. I'm going to make a TCG guide that talks about more of like the advanced stuff in the TCG, not the rules, but mechanics and what's good and what's not, and like what you should be going for. That's mostly going to be dice advantage. So like a lot of card games have card advantage, but this one is a little bit of both. You still want to have a lot of options, but dice advantage is one of the biggest things, right? You want to make sure you have more dice than your opponent. Why? Because it makes it so that when your opponent runs out of moves, you get to just play the game for free. You can do the rest of your attacks at the end of the turn. You can get 3 attacks in there after they've already ended their round, and then they can't do anything to defend that, and that can be really powerful. So that's what this plays around and what a lot of decks play around. That's why for this deck, I'm using something like Gamblers. After you defeat an enemy character, you basically create 2 Omni Element die. This is insanely broken for this, because if you're attacking for the cost of 2 dice and you attack twice and you knock out an opponent, you get 1 attack back. It's buy 2, get 1 free for normal attacks, and it seems way too strong, if I'm being completely honest. Paimon's going to generate Omni Element dice. Lieben's going to be good. If you can time your Parametric Transformer and your Lieben, you can save up so many dice. It's really good. Now, I actually run a little bit of a different version of this deck from some other people. I've been experimenting with it, and I've actually found that having 2 Liusu is not really as helpful. The reason being that you want to draw him turn 1, which is why having 2 can be good. But if you draw him in late game, it's almost a dead draw, in my opinion. Iron Tongue Chen can be good because he's good in late game, even though you're trying not to get to late game. With that being said, they're both pretty good cards. I run 1 of each. Parametric Transformer is really good in this deck in particular because it creates 3 different basic dice. Now, basic dice aren't good in general unless you just have a lot of cards to play. If you have a lot of draw power, that can be really good. However, if you're just spamming normal attacks, it doesn't matter because you only have to have 1 of your elemental dice and then 1 of another one. And so this can be really good. Also, there's the off chance that you get the dice that you're looking for. Changing Shifts is really good because it saves you dice. Strategize, I like to use. Not everyone uses this card, but draw 2 cards, draw power is really good. I haven't lost yet is great because if you need to sacrifice someone to switch out, you get an extra Omni die and you get energy. Leave It to Me is also really good for the fast actions if there's something that you need to execute really quickly. Star Signs is a bit of a controversial card because you're able to gain 1 energy. It costs 2 dice, which is like not that good, 2 dice for 1 energy, but you can use it instantly and it doesn't cost your turn. And that's the benefit of it. So I like to use it just in case, but I haven't found super good use for this yet. So I might replace this later. Send off, some people also choose not to run. The reason I'm running send off is because I really feel like there's too many decks I've seen that run summons that will just elemental reaction you into hell, and it's not a lot of fun. So if you're up against a deck that uses Kale or something, you instantly shut that down. You can shut down some of Oceanid stuff. You can't shut it all down, but it can save you from being reacted, and it's just a pretty good card overall. It's a good safety mechanism. There's not a lot of cards that do things to opponents, and this is one of those. Now, again, 2 minty meat rolls, and then you also have Northern Smoked Chicken. This can be good in a pinch too. It just saves you a die on a normal attack. It's 1 normal attack. It's not amazing, but it costs 0. So that was a whole lot of words. Basically, if you want to, you can sub out some cards. I would recommend, if you're gonna sub anything out, strategize. You can do send off as well. You can also sub out Northern Smoked Chicken. The NRE is gonna bring you food, and if you don't want to use Northern Smoked, you can use healing food, or you can just use different cards. But this is the setup I go with. I've explained the whole deck to you guys basically at this point. The reason I'm running Fatui Pyro Agent I haven't explained to you. So Bennett is a good card in that he buffs your damage, right? But getting Bennett's buff to align with Yoimiya's burst, to align with Ayaka's burst, is really hard to do because they both only last 2 rounds, right? Inspiration Field only lasts for 2 rounds. The healing is really good, but if everyone else is playing OTK decks, the healing is not going to save you. So in this case, Fatui Pyro Agent's value comes from him being tankier by default. He spawns in with stealth. Stealth makes it so he takes -1 damage and deals +1 damage, and he gets 2 uses of it. And that basically effectively makes him a lot more tanky, which allows you to draw for 2 turns if you need to get the cards you need to set up for the OTK. So that's why I prefer Fatui Pyro Agent to Bennett. There might be other uses for it, but that's the main reason. To be honest, I think a lot of the cards in this deck are really busted, and I wouldn't be surprised if Genshin went in and tried to balance some of these, but at the same time, I don't know how much they care because there's no rewards for it, so it doesn't really matter. And it's free to play, so... But I definitely could see some cards needing some more balancing. I want to show you guys this in practice now. I'm going to go play a bunch of co-op matches, and I'm just going to take whatever co-op matches go the best and put it into the video, probably, just so I can explain what's kind of happening. Because getting something to work perfectly is a matter of RNG to some extent, and so if we just get really unlucky, we're just going to be here forever. Well, we'll just try it out, and I'll see if I can sort of explain what I'm doing. Now, I don't actually expect... or I'm not like a perfect player. Also, this person's doing the same thing. The OTK deck, Yoimiya, is so good. I'm not a perfect player by any means. There's a lot of things that I can improve on, and honestly, this game is fairly new, so it's really hard to say what's the best. However, I'm gonna do my best to explain it. So right off the bat, we don't need the Northern Smoked right away. We have NRE, so we keep NRE. We keep Lusu.
I ended up winning this game, but here's one of my first misplays. I actually got rid of Gamblers. I should have held on to it at the beginning of the game because it allows me to execute the combo that wins the game later, but I did end up just getting lucky and drawing it again. You should definitely hold on to Gamblers for the OTK deck because you only have until turn 3 to get it. That said, it's possible to win without it.
All right, so we're gonna open up with Fatui Pyro Agent. That way we can swap into Yoimiya with Lusu to get the free energy. Okay, so this is really bad. Okay, dude. All right. I didn't want to play the game anyways. I actually don't know if I want to drop Paimon this turn. I think I drop Paimon next turn because Paimon will give us dice for 2 turns, and I think I'll need it the next couple turns, but I don't think I need it turn 1. Or else we can use Strategize, see what we can get. Gambler's pretty good, and Minty Meat. This is literally all we need. So NRE isn't even like that useful to us anymore because we have the Minty Meat rolls. We might need the second one, so I'm going to keep it, but yeah, we don't have a free swap. So I guess I can give Gamblers to Ayaka right now because I'm going to have the extra die. I'm going to swap to Yoimiya. I'm not going to set up Paimon this turn. I'm going to set up Paimon next because we're not going to have the OTK ready till turn 3 probably. I'm gonna use her skill. Why not? I don't have anything that I need extra dice for, so I might as well just get the extra damage. Interesting, he's just holding sync. I guess I know why, because he wants to set up for the big damage. But getting these 2 aligned is really hard. Granted, this is usages, so if you can get all your normal attacks out of the way, this ends up being fine. This will be really good. So what I've had to do a couple games is actually sacrifice Yoimiya. So she would be like really low HP, and then I would go ahead and use her burst, and then she would die. Then I haven't lost yet, and I could just use that into Ayaka, and it'd be really, really busted. More cards would definitely help this game. Oh, it's still my turn. I'm trolling. Extra Pyro Die is really good. So honestly, because our hand's already really good, I think I'm gonna actually use Yoimiya Burst this turn. I don't know if I necessarily want to. Yeah, I'll keep the 2 Cryo, and then I can just use that for Paimon, actually. Okay, I guess I'll just use the fucking 3 Electro in front of me for Paimon. That's actually nuts. Here, you can set up Paimon now.
Here come the fireworks.
We don't want to swap to Ayaka just yet. This is what, 3? That's so annoying. I wish I could do 1 extra damage. All right, I can end first, and then they're gonna use burst, so it's fine. So I can end first, and I can set this whole thing up. Do I want to just play the NRE just because I have the extra dice? Let's just do it. Let's play the NRE because I have the extra. Worst case, I can just turn this into a different die. So already one round gone with the Yoimiya burst, but because of the amount of dice we're gonna have, it should be okay. Also, they're not gonna kill my Yoimiya with her Yoimiya, which is a little bit of a bummer because honestly, I was low-key hoping they would just swap me into Ayaka for free, but it's not gonna happen. I have to make the swap. Also, that's a pretty like average die roll. I wish I had the free swap. Yeah, they're gonna use Yoimiya burst here or they're gonna swap. So either way, this is free. Either way, this is free. And then we're gonna eat this. And then it's going to be doom and destruction. Let's see if they swap. Okay, there you go. Yoimiya burst it is. I think I might benefit from adding like healing food to the deck too, but for now, this is fine. Although if Pyro applied to me, is it gonna kill me? No, it's one. Oh, it'll be fine. Though he'll reduce my damage, so... No, it'll just cause it to melt because he's gonna apply Hydro to himself, so it should be fine.
At this point of the game, we have our minty meat rolls out, we have a bunch of dice, and we have gamblers on Ayaka, and we have Yoimiya burst. So basically all the qualifications are met, and now we just basically normal attack until the end of the game. I was a little hesitant to see if there would be any counterplays from the opponent, but if you watch the rest, you'll see how insanely destructive this deck is. And though you can't see it because my camera's in the way, I really gotta find a better spot for that. The opponent only has one die left, so they basically can't do anything. This is why dice advantage is so important in this game, because after your opponent is out, if you still have more, they just can't even fight back. There's nothing they can do, and you just get unlimited free turns until you're out.
I do this. And we get the 2 dice back, and then we have this as well. No, I could choose her burst. Then Ayaka burst comes up. So I didn't like perfectly execute. Oh wait, no, never mind. GG. That's 7, and then this does 2 at the end of the phase. So that's GG. I was worried about it. Gambler's kind of busted too. You guys saw Gamblers go off, and then it created the 2 Omni dice as well. I can also just do this too. My brain is having a hard time wrapping itself around how many dice are being generated. So like I keep going, wow, this is crazy. Wait, I don't have enough. Just kidding, I do have enough. I don't know, it's insane. The deck is nuts. If you understand how it works, it just goes wild. So like once they're out of dice, you can just keep attacking for free. And that's like actually just an OTK. It's actually just a 1-turn kill. There's nothing they can do to counterplay that, right? If you set up before they set up, they can't do anything. And that's why that deck is so insanely broken. I don't know. That really shouldn't be that easy, right? That shouldn't be that easy. But yeah, I mean, I hope that was literally the first game we queued into. So I hope that shows you kind of like how busted that deck is. There's a lot of things that can counter it. And to be honest, if you let your Ayaka die, or if she's killed that same turn that you need to pop off, you have less options. It doesn't mean you lose definitively, but your win condition, or like your main win condition, is just gone, right? Your OTK win condition is gone. And you don't even have to kill in that 1 turn. If your Ayaka's alive throughout 2 turns, you can swap off and you can swap back onto Ayaka and you can keep going because you have 2 minty meat rolls and it ends up being okay. Basically, the deck is really busted and you guys should definitely give it a try. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Hit that subscribe button. I don't know what our sub count is at right now, but it would be really cool if you added to it. That would be neat. You'd be one of 100,000 at least. All right, gamers. I'll catch you next time. I'll have more deck stuff coming soon.